Hello students, welcome to Shoropsa's classes. So in today's video we'll be talking about the marginal value product or perfect competition in the product market. So we'll continue our discussion on the theory of factor pricing. In this video we'll be talking about if the firm is a price taker, if the firm is a price taker in the output market, if the firm is a price taker in the output market, as we know perfect competition, and we know perfect competitive market, marginal revenue is equals to price. In perfect competitive market, the marginal revenue is basically equals to price. So from here what we can write is, we can simply write, that is, we know MRP, say for an example K is equals to small r. So instead of this we can write MR into MPP K equals to small r. Instead of MR we can write price into MPP K equals to R, which will be nothing but value of marginal product of capital equals to smaller. So VMP is what? Marginal value product. So this is known as marginal value product. So VMP is what? VMPK is marginal value product. Similarly, we can also get VMPL equals to small w. This will be marginal value product also. In case of monopoly, the commodity markets and farm markets, we can see marginal revenue is less than price. So in this case, MRP must be less than VMP. So in case of imperfect market, that is imperfect competition, we know MR is less than P. So MRP will be less than VMP. MRP will be less than VMP. So here we'll assume the commodity is perfect, commodity market is perfect. So it is not necessary to make a distinction between MRP and VMP. So it's not necessary to make a distinction between MRP and VMP. Not necessary to make a distinction between MRP and VMP. So now we'll get into a topic called the demand for a single market. The demand for a single input. So now we'll get into a topic called demand for a single input. Demand for a single input. Now here we use the profit maximizing assumption to study the comparative statistics of input demand. To be very specific, we will look at the demand for labor and ask about the direction and size of change in L by change in W. So we'll simply look at the demand for labor. We'll simply look at the demand for labor and we'll ask about the direction and size of we'll ask about the direction and size of change in capital L by change in small w. We'll ask about the direction and size of change in L by change in W. So in this video, as you can see, so demand for labor, the direction of size, change in L by change in K, and size of this. Now this derivative is likely to be negative. This derivative is likely to be negative. Why? Because the reason is that change in L by change in W to be negative is that marginal physical product of labor diminishes MPP diminishes as the quality of labor employed increase. As the quality of labor employed increases. That is, the quantity of other factored inputs higher remain the same. A decrease in W means that labor must be higher to bring about the equality between W equals to P into MPPL. Suppose there is a decrease in small w, which eventually means more labor must be hired to bring the equality between W and P into MPPL, to bring more equality between W equals to P into MPPL. Now a fall in W must be made by a fall in MPPL. Must be made by fall in Jesus Christ my Lord. So here, as you can see, a fall in W will be made by fall in MPL to meet the equilibrium level. Now we know P remaining fixed. So here what we can do is, this can brought about by increasing L. So when L increases, we know MPL will fall. What is MPL? MPL is basically change in Q by change in labor. So by the theory of diminishing returns to scale, we can state that as L increases, Q, which is quantity, starts to fall. That is MPPL starts to fall. So a fall in W made by fall in MPPL, which is only possible by increasing labor. Now how do we prove it? For this, what we can do is, we'll have to write down a equation. Say for an example, write down the equation P into MPPL equals to small w. Now if you differentiate this w, it will become dw equals to P into change in MPPL by change in L, and then in this case if you differentiate this, the MPPL become change in L by change in W into W. We change in L by W equals to W, or it will be 1 equals to P into change in MPPL by change in L into change in L by change in W, or it will be change in L by change in W equals to 1 by P into change in MPPL by change in L. So if we assume this to be less than 0, then change in L by change in W will be less than 0 as well. So change in L by change in W will be less than as well. So the falling part of the VPL curve as demand curve for labor. So we know that the falling part of VMPL curve is what? It is the demand curve for labor. So I hope you guys have understood this question. If you still have any query or doubt regarding the concept, you can simply WhatsApp me on this number, which is given as 9836 793076, or you can also go to our website, which is given as www.showrupsirclasses.com. There you will find a lot of other videos like this, and you will also get to see a lot of other materials which are needed for different entrance exam. So thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day ahead.